The Jamaica Premier League is well underway. We're approaching game day 10. No, just about the middle, I think. No, we're a few match days away from the middle, But yeah, it's a good competition so far. I like what they're doing. Similar to what we saw with the schoolboy football competition. It's kind of a rebranding.
Yeah.
The broadcasting is really good with us. We're seeing sponsors, we're seeing limited fields, only the good fields, no bad fields can make it onto TV. We're seeing some good things from, JPL and the rebranding. How do you feel about the Jamaican Premier League so far?
I definitely like what they're doing. There's definitely an air of professionalism that has been added to it, and I think this is exactly the way how it's supposed to go. Teams getting their home and away fixtures, but some teams conceding home games when they're TV games, so as to accommodate double headers, and I'm absolutely fine with that. Still home and away, still the general format. However, the venues have to be altered from time to time to accommodate double headers, and if you lose a home game, oh well, Jamaica is very small regardless. So
Yeah.
I definitely like the direction that the JPL has gone in. It looks better, it feels better, and I think the quality of football will reflect as such.
Here we go. Not some bad games. I've been watching the games and seeing some good games. Let's speak about the topic at hand, though. Some schoolboys that we saw in the Money Cup and the Costa Cup are standing out against grown men, against, I can't say full professionals, but, men that are earning, so I guess we can call them full professionals, against grown men in the JPL. Some names to mention: Romain, Blake, Devante Hodges, Marquis, Reed, Shaquan Satchwell, Romeo Daniel, a lot of those players. So let's speak about it, man. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, because I've always maintained that the ISA boys and girls, or the ISA boys and girls sports competitions in general tend to have a better level than the quote unquote FA run professional or semi-professional competitions in the country, and especially with football. The Manning Cup and the Costa Cup, sometimes it looks better and it feels better. Obviously, I think there's probably more concentrated talent in the FA run JPL because there are only 14 teams. But I mean, at the very tippy top of the Manning Cup, some of these players who are standing out in the Manning Cup are just as good, if not better, than these players in the Jamaica Premier League. And it's on full display, with the likes of these youngsters being introduced to their JPL teams right off of Manning Cup and the Costa Cup being concluded. And they fit like an absolute glove. In fact, we've seen where the players themselves are making profound impacts on their team. Devante Hodges was featured in a newspaper article recently, after helping to improve the Chapelton Maroons' performance after finishing the Costa Cup, changing from his customary yellow to the pink or red, whatever that color is of the Chapelton Maroons, and going out there and making an absolute statement. And somebody that we'd be more familiar with from Jamaica College, Romain Blake. I think he's Waterhouse's best defender. And
Crazy to say.
since going into Waterhouse, you've seen where they just look so much better. He gives them the ability to play better football because of his ability to play out from the back. In addition to his assured defending, he's such a remarkable young talent, and it's amazing how poised he is, how much of a leader he is on that field. Though he's playing with men that are probably 10 years older than he is, they all respect him, and his coach expects leadership from him, and he goes out and he delivers by playing outstanding football and demonstrating excellent leadership at the senior level. Romain Blake, an amazing player, and it's so jarring to see that the youngest players in the nation playing in the high school competition can fit seamlessly into the Premier League, and you can't say that about any other football system in the whole entire world.
Yeah, and that was the point I was going to make. Both guys that you mentioned a while ago are 17 years old.
Yeah,
Devante Hodges is 17, Romain Blake is 17 years old. And standing out, going into Waterhouse and immediately changing their fortunes.
and wait,
Turning,
and not to cut you, they're standing out at a central defense position.
where maturity is appreciated.
Exactly. Like at centre back, you're required experience because it takes great experience to play centre back rather than as a winger where all you have to do is get the ball, beat a man, and get a squaring. just put your foot through the ball and get a square in. As a defender, you have to be more calculated, and more intelligent. I genuinely do believe that defenders, though it might not be the technically best players on the field, have to be the most intelligent players on the field. And we see two 17-year-olds going out playing in such a hard position, absolutely standing out.
Yeah, and as I was saying, immediately changing Waterhouse fortunes. He walked into that squad and became their starter. When you think about a school, I would see other schoolboys that are there and doing well, at other teams. So we talk about Shaquan Satchel, we talk about Jaime Fraser from JC's playing at Waterhouse the same way. Playing at he plays for Portmore United.
Yeah.
So we see players that are doing well, but these players just walk into these these teams and become starters. Chapter Maroon, by the way, is filled with schoolboys. That is basically the Clarendon College's team right there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those players, Malachi Douglas and those players, they're playing for Chapter Maroons. Romeo Daniel, the keeper, he's playing for Chapter Maroons. Marquise Reed playing for Chapter Maroons. So a lot of these players, man, I'm so surprised at what they're doing, and because normally we see 1 and 2, we see a Junior Flemings come and just smash it up. We see a Javier Brown come and just smash it up. We see a Alex Marshall come and just smash it up. But then, at 17 years old though, crazy. So I'd say it's a phenomenon. Obviously, schoolboys playing in the JPL is not, but at this tender age and being as good as they are, I can't find another word other than phenomenon. Shaquan Satchel played a good game for Portmore in the game that they played this week in game week 9. He played decent, got a chance. I don't know if you saw it where he collided with Gowie and Austin.
Yeah. I was there. I couldn't believe that chance wasn't converted. It seemed as though the goal was begging for it to be scored in. And they did everything but that. It's unfortunate, but you speak about Satchel. His coach Philip Williams relies heavily on him, not only in that St. Andrew Technical High School team, but in that Portmore United team as well. You can see that he's a linchpin in their offense. You can see that he's definitely somebody they attempt to get the ball to, and they expect goals and goal opportunities to be created from Shaquan Satchel. They expect him to run the game. Sometimes we saw him playing deeper in the midfield, as I always say about his versatility to play in the midfield, and then we see him being pushed out wide as well. And we see how often his coach is saying, get the ball to Satchel, overlap, cut off Satchel, run off Satchel, break off Satchel. Like, I'm hearing this being right beside the bench, and it's so interesting to me how he's just an 18-year-old, and his coach is expecting him to perform very well at the highest level of this thing here. Schoolboy footballs are really standing out, and it's amazing to see.
Yeah, and he doesn't look out of place. And obviously it's one of his first games this season, and I'm expecting him to continue to do better for Portmore United. Portmore United, however, though they are struggling for goals, man, they are undefeated, in the competition so far, but can't manage to put the ball into the back of the net. I saw that chance. I was like, that epitomizes what they've been this season. So solid at the back because they have a veteran in Rudolph Austin Marshall in the team.
Yeah.
And some good players. Myers beside him. I feel like I was impressed by that guy, playing beside Rudolph Austin, but can't manage to put the ball into the back of the net. And once Jaime Fraser, who is a standout for JC, and Shaquan Satchel come alive, I feel like they will start scoring goals. And if Romain Blake and Devonta Hodges is anything to go by, the schoolboys will start, lighting up this competition. Before we go though, I wanted to give the viewers a quick rundown of the JPL table. Because otherwise we'll start with our coverage. Let's just not tell them what's going on. At the bottom of the table, we have Falkland FC. Matter of fact, let's start at the top. We have Mount Pleasant on 20 points. Cavaliers just behind on 19 points. Arnett Gardens on 17 points. Harbourview FC on 15 points. Portmore United on 15 points. Humble Lion 14 points. Waterhouse 13. Dunbar Holden 12. Montego Bay United 12. Mullines United 10. Chapelton Maroons 8. Tivoli Gardens 7. Vere United 6. And Falkland FC on 2 points. Some teams that we are expecting to be doing well. Tivoli is always a team I expect to be at the top of the table. Being in that top 5, being in and around that top 5 place. But they're sitting third from last.
Yeah.
Not a great start to the season so far. But Mount Pleasant and Cavaliers and Arnett running away, man, and they're doing so well. Arnett Gardens usually does well in the regular season. It's usually the playoff that they start to struggle.
Mount Pleasant is definitely a team that's a brand new phenomenon, but they're attempting to build their program and to become a traditional football name in the country. They're spending their money, they're improving their facilities and they're focusing on youth development. So Mount Pleasant deserves to be exactly where they are, and I think we'll continue to hear from Mount Pleasant. And in 10 years, they'll be up there with the likes of the Waterhouses and the Harbour Views. I promise you. Mount Pleasant a big team. They're
Yeah,
probably the best one team in the whole country.
for sure. And finally, the game of the week. I feel like it's definitely the game of the week. How about you versus Waterhouse? How about you taking a 4-0 thrashing from Waterhouse? You're at that game, so just give us a quick insight before we leave the people.
The game of the week may well be
The Arnett game. Could be
yeah,
the Arnett game.
Mount
Could be the
Pleasant.
Arnett.
That was an outstanding game, but the game that this or that Sports TV was at, where Waterhouse really just came out and they were comprehensive in their performance, checking all boxes, looking assured in every single position, looking like they were not in doubt any at all. And it's the introduction of the 17-year-old. I think he is the catalyst to their changes in fortune, because Waterhouse did not start the season particularly well. But since Romain Blake's introduction, they have completely overhauled it. They've completely turned it around. And it's so important having somebody who is so assured at the back, who is technically gifted enough to help in the attack. And one of the first goal, that Romain Howell would have scored. Ramon Howell, my apologies, would have scored a cracker of a goal that was the goalkeeper probably should have done better, considering that Harbour are currently trying to patch their goalkeeping woes, considering Amal not recently left for an international contract. So this is not their goalkeeper. This is not the goalkeeper that they would have loved to have in this game. Had it been Amal Knight, I think that first goal would have been saved. I think the goalkeeper should have done better. But to the point that I was trying to make, Blake, he was the one who pushes it forward and makes that cutting pass straight into the midfielder, straight into the attack line. And I think that's so invaluable, and most teams don't have that. And Blake possesses that ability to do that for his team. And I think that's why Waterhouse's fortune has changed. Just the interjection of one standout individual.
There we go. People, it's another episode of Studio Talk. 1 hour fly by so fast, man. Those are our 3 topics. We did some national team talk. Then we did some domestic league talk. We spoke about some schoolboys. We spoke about the under 17 competition. We spoke about Reggae Boys, Jamaica. We did it all today. So really good show. I hope you guys watched all the way to the end. And if you watched all the way to the end, please leave a comment saying that you did. Say you're there. Say watch to the end. You see it? People, before we leave you guys, if you like today's episode of Studio Talk, don't forget to like the video. Leave a comment on this one and subscribe to this side at Sports TV. The one more thing though.
Share the video to at least 10 people, but ensure to get us 6 subscribers. Because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, do you know how many subscribers that get us by the end of the day, people?
A lot. There we go. This is another episode of Studio Talk. For now. So this is that Sports TV.
And we're out.
Yes, sir.